Hi everybody, this is Rosie Obobara, co-chair of Texas 23 Indivisibles, and I wanted to make a video, kind of like a vlog instead of a blog, and talk about kind of where I started and how I wound up here today, very upset. I started going to some protests against Will Hurd because I thought he was a pretty, on paper he looked like a pretty crummy, not even crummy, that's a nice term. He looked like a pretty bad congressman, and just from that, what I saw on paper, he did not look good. Getting to know who Will Hurd is, that became my homework. And believe me, it has become their homework to get to know who I am. Kind of weird. I never thought that just keeping track of someone, an elected official, was going to bring on so many haters. I mean, real haters, really people who will leave messages in your inbox on Facebook. People who are Will Hurd's biggest fans, sending you friend requests and then oddly staring at you at the town halls. He sent me a friend request. He could have come up to me and said, "Hey, I sent you a friend request. Why haven't you accepted it?" It was very odd to read about me. They obviously didn't want to call me the Mexican woman. They called me the dark-haired woman. Today, I got thanked by a Republican for behaving so well today. Hats off to me for behaving so well. And, I was very taken aback at this. I was shocked that I was told that I was behaving well. And now, I think always you think something afterwards to say. And I probably should have thanked him for behaving well also. But of course, it was Will Hurd. He didn't say anything of substance today. He really, in Castroville, it was very interesting. Castroville in the morning, lots of haters. They were full of haters. And it was strategic what we did. We knew what we were going to do going in. Nobody scared us into staying quiet. Although the police told us that, they were ready to haul us off if we got unruly. Haul us off into the park across the way. Just kind of really, I just want to say that, if I didn't like Will Hurd on paper before, getting to know him and actually seeing him in person, and even actually listening to him speak, and the condescending way that he spoke to me, which, that was just me, but a condescending way of his lies, he's just a liar. He straight up lying. We know that he voted 9 times to repeal the ACA, or Obamacare, if you want to call it. And at the last minute, the very last minute, we wanted to know how Hurd was going to vote. Darlene was, and several others, we were in his office when that vote came through. And we did not know, except like we found out how he was going to vote about a minute before the vote. We figured that was enough time for John Cornyn and Paul Ryan, who, Paul Ryan is really the one pulling the puppet strings, let's be clear, because Paul Ryan is the one who has put Will Hurd in all these big committees, like as if Hurd was really deserving of them. He's a freshman representative, and he's on these big, powerful committees, and it's really mind-boggling. Knowing Will Hurd in person, just the little bit that I even got to talk to him or anything, I really don't like him. I've heard people say that he's a very likable guy, but I can tell you for sure he's not likable, and he's not friendly if you disagree with him. He likes to say we can agree to disagree, which I heard so many times in the 20 cities 6 days tour that he did in a huge rock star RV. That was hilarious. He did a town hall. It was in Castroville this morning, and they parked the RV right across from this little teeny tiny coffee house. The coffee house was outdoor seating, and they park a huge RV and they don't turn it off, and so it was loud. People couldn't hear. People were saying I can't hear, and it's well, that RV is parked right behind us. I don't know whose smart idea that was. I think his staff, his chief of staff is his friend from 13 years old. I'm gonna give you some advice, Stoney. Ask someone older to get on your team. You guys are kids. You have no idea how things work. And if you and Will, you have too much think alike. And so you need somebody to just helping you out. I'm going to give you this advice. You need somebody older, wiser to give you advice on how to treat people. Because your idea of doing a town hall and parking the RV right across the street, and it not even occurring to you that loud noise was gonna disrupt, or maybe you did it on purpose. Hell, that wouldn't surprise me, because you guys were hella strategic about a lot of stuff. It was funny. I saw Will Hurd going into the coffee house. I thought I would take a picture with him, and so I followed him in, and he said hi to the owners, hugged them, pictures with them, everything. I was standing right there, and he completely ignored me. It was as if, the room in there is tiny. It's a tiny coffee house, I was still thinking I was gonna get a picture, and of course Will just he doesn't see me at all. He's got tunnel vision, and he says the police, they go to the back, and the police said he was gonna take some photo ops. which we thought was a little weird because that was a bathroom, and he was going to go back there and take photo ops. Uh, that was really weird. We tried to just like, okay, there is nothing back there to take photo ops of. Photo ops. I don't know. There and no one was coming out. We waited for a while because I thought, oh, I'll wait a couple of minutes here for Will to come out and I'll be able to catch my picture with him. Got tired of waiting. I walk out and Will had gone out through the side door of the coffee shop. That was one little room, but the rest of it was wide open. Why did he need to go out through the side door? Was it mostly to avoid me? Or I don't think it was. I think that Will is just super duper paranoid. And even though he was going to, basically he was going out to the side door, being sneaky, I guess, but wound up being right back in the audience outside, unless a car picked him up right there and then drove him off. Again, he is very paranoid. He comes in through one entrance or exit and exits another one. He never goes in. He must have some kind of paranoia, or maybe it's OCD. I don't know. He can't come in where he came out, or where he can't go out where he came in. Yeah, again, I did not like Will Hurd on paper. All these things that I read about him, I didn't like him. I met him in person, and I wound up not liking him even more than what I thought. I really wasn't expecting much. I was expecting to hold him accountable, but I was expecting him to, like, he knows who I am. He would be a little bit, I don't know, he would try to talk to me, but obviously he is not interested in talking to me. But I am going to continue being a thorn in his side. And he can pretend to ignore me. It's not going to work. Doesn't matter. I'm still going to be there. Just had to get that off my chest. It was really crazy. I don't mean to go on and on, but, today there was a counter protest, Charlottesville. 3 people were killed for those, the racist statues, the Civil War statues. We have 3 people were killed by a white terrorist. I'm waiting to hear if the news will call them a white terrorist. I doubt it. I am, at the same time today, there was a counter protest regarding another racist statue in San Antonio, in Travis Park. It's a statue of a Confederate soldier, and we want to take it down. That blip in history, time's done, time's gone. That's it. It was a blip in history. It does not define who we are. I know that some people would like it to stay because it defines who they are, but that attitude has to go. In the United States, America, we are not about celebrating white supremacy and slavery. And it will go down because you white people who believe like that will eventually be outnumbered. We're only getting started. Believe me, we're only getting started. So it was a tough day because while I was attending Will Hurd's town halls, I started getting banners, news notifications about Charlottesville. And, Will Hurd even had a moment of silence. Yet, what would he do? in that instance, he obviously didn't agree, but is he one to vote to take those statues down? Uh, he didn't say anything. He's black. His father was there. His father, one of his stories is that his father was a traveling salesman. Hurd's father was a traveling salesman, and could not stay and sleep or spend the night, probably eat or bathroom anywhere. I don't know. He said sleep mostly, and yet Will is a Republican, and a Republican during a time when racist statues should offend him. I mean, he should be offended. What is he doing about that? Nothing. He's not doing anything. It's, I know a lot of white people who are against the racist statues. I am a Mexican American. I am against it. Indigenous people and Mexicans were killed by a white supremacist, hung, no trial. And so on a day like today, and having to go listen and hear a black Republican congressman say how his father couldn't even stay in a hotel, and today his son is in Congress. I bet his father never thought, wow, I wish my son was friends with white supremacists who don't let me sleep in these hotels. And I bet he even had to sleep in his car many times, but yet his son has chosen to side with white supremacy. And thinking about his mom also getting married to a black man, that was a very brave thing to do. Why didn't his son get that fact that people had to be tolerant for this world to change, to be where it is today, especially for black people? People had to be tolerant. But where is the tolerance for the Mexican Americans, the Hispanics, the Latinos, the Chicanos? Trump came down talking bad about Mexicans, bad guys, bad hombres, talking about us being us rapists, murderers, thieves, drug dealers. I guess since he's black and he's like, it's okay because, I don't know. I think he thinks he's white. And where is the tolerance that his father was looking for? Where is that lesson? I don't think Will Hurd has learned that lesson yet. And with that, I'm out. I've gone on very long and could probably go on for a really long time. Thanks.